We're learning today that hundreds of workers at a Hyundai plant. I was thinking Hyundai of workers at a 100 plant. And hundreds of workers at a Hyundai plant in Georgia were detained after an immigration raid. The South Korean-based automaker called on its government to work out a deal with the Trump administration. About 500 people were arrested, Holly, and most of them were South Korean nationals. This is a plant that was setting up to build batteries for electric vehicles.
Right. And, one of the things that's got to be a little bit frustrating is President Trump said bring manufacturing back. And so Hyundai is building a plant. It's not operational, wasn't set to be operational until next year. So they're setting up this plant. They have all these workers, and then hundreds of them were rounded up, and now they're going back to South Korea. So I don't know how that's going to work out.
ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang reports.
South Korea is a U.S. ally. The country recently pledged to invest billions of dollars in the U.S., and the government is expressing concern here. The Ford ministry said the following, quote, the economic activities of our companies investing in the U.S. and the rights and interests of our nationals must not be unfairly violated. Hyundai says these were not employees for the company directly, but a network of subcontractors that the plant used.
500 of them.
Yeah,
South Korean nationals.
Yeah, that's right. And, President Trump said people need to respect U.S. immigration law while he welcomes foreign workers who come here legally to train American workers, which some are arguing that is exactly what was happening. And if you see some of the images, they were taking people out. I mean, these are people from South Korea working on batteries. They were taking them out with chains around their waist, their hands and feet shackled. I mean, it really is something where originally the immigration deportation conversation was about the bad dudes that were selling drugs, right? Not constructing electric vehicle batteries.
Trump did sort of follow up saying, well, maybe we need some of these workers until the Americans can get their skills up to speed.
If you don't have people in this country right now that know about batteries, maybe we should help them along and let some people come in and train our people to do, complex things, whether it's battery manufacturing or computer manufacturing.
Makes you wonder if ICE had coordinated with the administration before they decided to go in and round up 500 South Korean nationals who were doing exactly what I think Trump's tariff plan was designed to do, and that is bring construction, bring marketing, bring manufacturing
back to the U.S.
in the United States.
Yeah, it's one of the issues that you have this ongoing conversation, and we'll talk in our next segment about what's happening in Chicago. But it really is this idea of what is happening with ICE. Do ICE agents talk with, for example, people above them? President Trump apparently didn't know. Sounds like he didn't know before this happened, right? And South Korea now is concerned about the diplomatic ties that are being strained, if not broken, with this mass roundup of their workers.
500. We're talking about 500 people, most of them South Korean nationals, who were arrested at a Hyundai plant. It was a collaboration between Hyundai and I think LG. They were to build batteries.
Right.
Another U.S. company to try to build batteries for their cars. I mean, we've got to start doing more of that at home here. And they're arrested. I mean, that's got to put the complete brakes on this. I mean, 500 workers out of the loop. That's going to put a stop to this.
Look, the New York Times has an article that starts this way. The United States has for years pressured South Korea to invest billions of dollars in American industry, a push that has only increased over the past few months. That made it all the more shocking for South Koreans when they learned that U.S. immigration officials raided the construction site of a major Hyundai LG plant in Georgia.
And now we're being told that South Korea has chartered a plane to take them all back home.
Yeah.
500 individuals. Yeah. You would hope that there'd be something worked out here and maybe vet. There are probably 300 or 400 of them that could be valuable if they wanted to stay here and work.
I think that the working out part is going to come after these people go home to South Korea. Again, I think if you think that you're here doing a good thing, you're going to help train American workers who don't know how to do this yet. Even President Trump said they can help train American workers who need these skills, right, and then go home. Well, now you're sending them home before American workers have been trained.
And ICE has the uncomfortable position, Holly, of being in a place where they've got to arrest for quota purposes, 300 individuals a day. So 500.
I thought it was 3,000.
Wasn't
it? Isn't it a lot? It's
yes.
a lot.
Yes, it's to whatever. Yeah, whatever gets you to 1 million in a year. Yes, 300. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's a lot. But 500 has to be a big chunk of that.
Yeah, it's part of the conversation. That's an ongoing conversation about what is the balance here, right? And we've talked about the balance between trying to bring manufacturing back to the United States. And for some companies, we know that manufacturing won't be back here until well after the Trump administration is over.
Right. It's 3,000 a day. You're right. But the whole idea of this company coming in, Hyundai, South Korean, they're our friends. You know what I mean? This is a country we want to work with. And Hyundai's a big company that sells a ton of product in the United States and is getting into the electric vehicle business and needs more batteries. So let's build them here. Let's have manufacturing here. Let's help these people. In the meantime, 500 are being shipped up on a plane and sent back to South Korea.
Yeah, have you ever been to South Korea?
I have, actually.
So have I. And I found the people there to be very respectful, very kind. They were definitely friends of the United States. One of the people who was caught up in that actually talked to the BBC, which is the British Broadcasting Corporation, right? And he said he first became aware that something was happening when the company bosses started calling. There was a whole bunch of phone calls saying shut down operations, and it was the largest of its kind, largest immigration raid since President Trump returned to the White House. They were trying to contact family members. All of their cell phones were in the office, but the office was locked, so they couldn't even talk to their families.
Yeah, my son's in the Air Force, and he was deployed to South Korea for some time, and I went and visited him.
Mm-hmm.
And what I recall about that country is that they were very supportive of the U.S. influence there, that they didn't mind the Air Force base on Osang or wherever.
Yeah,
it was.
that's right.
And
yeah.
My son's a doc there, and he was stationed at the orthopedic clinic, and they treated us incredibly well. And anywhere you went in the community there in South Korea was great. I mean, that's a country that loves its association with the United States, wants to continue that, and I hope we didn't set it back by this 500 people being now deported.
So ICE is saying these people were not legally authorized to be in the United States, but the BBC and their article, they verified that there, at least people that they talked to, were legally allowed to be in the United States, right? That they had the legal right to be here on a work visa.
That's what I thought, that they were here on work visas, so they had to have at least the temporary status in the United States.
So ICE is saying that they were here illegally, all 475, and yet South Korea and the workers themselves, at least some of them, are saying, no, we're here. Some of them, it looks like maybe overstayed a work visa, but again, it was the largest immigration raid of a workplace so far since President Trump took office.
Yeah, 500
earlier this year.
And I don't know. I mean, we've hit this pretty hard, but you just hope that it doesn't break down any sort of diplomatic relationships between the two countries, and that we recognize the importance of the manufacturing facility that's being set up in Georgia to help the countries get along better in the future.
Well, and not only that, it will impact battery production, right? Which will then trickle down, no question. I think trickle down to the costs of electric vehicle batteries and more of those, right?
Well, when we started this, we talked about the fact that they're chartering a plane to take them back to South Korea. And I would just hope that cooler heads could prevail and we could do something in the meantime and maybe just sit down with, 475 people. It's not going to take a long time, and go through their status in this country. And if they're here on a visa, something's legit, let's let them do that. If they've got skills, like Trump said himself, that are unique to them, those are reasons why we do allow work visas.
But would you want to stay here?
Oh, I'm sure that they're going to be looking over their shoulders every time.
I'm not sure I would want to stay, even if I were here
yeah.
legally. All right, so talking about immigration and deportations, on social media over the weekend, President Trump shared a post saying, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning." And then he followed it up with this: Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War. That's coming up next, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, sponsored by At Your Service Pros.